Hi, how are ya? It's me, Spencer the empath. Yup, my name is Spencer, and I'm an empath. Today I wanted to talk to you about social addiction. Social addiction? Addiction to socializing. I wanted to start off by saying that this topic, addiction to socializing, is one that I don't see talked about a lot. I think it's very important, and I've experienced it a lot in my own life. I also wanted to briefly say, the other day I was giving someone advice at work, and they were like, yeah, I'll do that. I thought to myself, whoa, you're just gonna do what I say? I need to start being clear. My advice is unprofessional and usually unsolicited, so keep that in mind. But here is my views and advice on addiction to socializing. Addiction to socializing is actually not a diagnosis. It's not a disorder. It's just an excessive need for social connection that can get in the way of other aspects of life. That is very true. And if you've experienced that, you might have experienced addiction to socializing. This can be amplified, and it's commonly caused by social media. My experience with addiction to socializing is my whole life I've been very social. I've been a social creature, relatively outgoing, always had friends and always was doing social activities and stuff. When I got to, tween teen years, I was addicted to socializing. I felt extreme FOMO anytime I wasn't allowed to do something, anytime people did things without me and I saw it. It was a real issue. I pushed myself into any situation to just be part of it, be with the other people, fit in, be validated by the other people. And I think that a lot of this was because I wanted validation from other people. I needed to be liked by everyone because I felt that if I wasn't liked by everyone, then I wasn't good enough. I wasn't, a cool and interesting person. I would copy what other people are doing in ways, not necessarily copy, but I would be very prone to social pressure. I would do things that I didn't want to do, all these things, right? But there's something to be said about how important socializing is for us, and also how being social is pushed onto everyone, of course, because we're humans, we're social creatures, we require a sense of community, a sense of belonging. So naturally, we're supposed to be social, right? In our genetics, we're supposed to be social creatures, but societally, we're also pushed to be social. And some people are just prone to taking that too far. Some people also have other issues that will just kind of come alive when they're socializing. If they have low self-esteem, they're gonna base their self-esteem off of who they're hanging out with, how much they're hanging out, what these people think of them. And so they're gonna take every opportunity to hang out, to go do stuff, to be there, even if they are super sick or really don't feel like it, or may not even like all the people that are going, or are uncomfortable, they will go, because missing that social interaction could mean that everyone else will have a great time and you won't be there, and they won't be thinking of you, they'll be having a good time without you. And that leads to FOMO, okay? That term is pretty popular. A lot of people know it. FOMO, fear of missing out. And fear of missing out is exactly what it sounds like. Fear of missing out. And that probably was always a thing, but social media? Oh my gosh. It's bad. A lot of people experience it, and it leads a lot of people to be anxious about missing anything socially, to be anxious about being alone. So that can be serious when that's your main thing. You need to be spending time with people. That takes energy, that takes time. You always have to be spending time with people. Where's the time for self-discovery and rest and silence and just being with yourself? There's none. Because when you're not with other people, you're thinking that you need to be with other people. And you're thinking about scenarios where you're just left out. And so you never have peace when you're alone. I believe that social addiction causes an inability to be alone. Because that's what it is, right? You're addicted to socializing, you're addicted to being around people. So you can't be alone, or when you are alone, you're craving your drug, your social interaction. And speaking of drugs, addiction to socializing and substances is also a huge aspect of this, because a lot of times, especially in your teenage years or your young adult years or your adult years, there's going to be substances that people, congregate around, like alcohol, like weed, whatever the substances are. That is very common, and you can get into the habit of, for example, drinking every time you see a group of people. Maybe you're addicted to socializing, so every time you go, your habit is to drink every time. That is bad. That's bad. And maybe you might not even want to, or maybe you might not even be addicted to alcohol, but you're addicted to socializing, so you're gonna drink, because that's what the other people are doing too. Anyways, I think it's all very relative. It's all in the same pot, okay? I'm just scooping different things out here, but they're all in the same pot, okay? Because socializing is a huge part of most, if not all, of our lives, okay? So for FOMO, the actual textbook definition is the apprehension and anxiety that others are experiencing rewarding events, activities, or opportunities that one is absent from, particularly on social media. Yeah, particularly on social media. Now, since this is kind of what I'm all about, I wanted to talk about blessings, I can't think of another way to describe it, that you are missing by being addicted to socializing, okay? Number one, knowing yourself. If you're really addicted to socializing, you don't know yourself. You know yourself, sure, you know who you are, blah, blah, you're a person. I'm not saying you're not a person, but you don't have alone time. And often if you're addicted to socializing, you don't have quality alone time. So you don't have a relationship with yourself, You don't sit with your thoughts. You don't think about yourself. You often think about other people all the time when you're addicted to socializing, and that clouds your mind even or especially when you're not with them. So there's no opportunity to know yourself, to get to know yourself, to talk to yourself, to think to yourself, to have a relationship with yourself. That goes hand in hand with social media too, because even when you're alone, you're on social media, you're looking at what other people are doing, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, recharging is the same thing, basically, quality alone time, or just rest. If you're addicted to socializing, your rest might be clouded with, oh, I'm going out, I gotta get up to go out tomorrow, or oh my God, I slept till 3 p.m. because I was out the entire night with my friends. They're all really similar, but I have silence. Silence is really important, okay? I'm alone a lot, and I get into phases where there's no silence because I'm always listening to music or listening to a podcast or something like that. Silence is really important, and I find especially when I'm addicted to socializing, there's really no silence. There's no times where I'm just quiet. Those are some personal things that you're missing out on that are really important to me, at least. Now, the people that you are addicted to socializing with are not necessarily always the best people for you. A lot of us are in friendships, relationships that aren't necessarily the best for us if we know it or don't know it. And when you're addicted to socializing and you never have alone time, you could be always around a bad energy or bad energies that you don't even realize. Or maybe you do, but you're still addicted to socializing, okay? That can be so harmful. It can drain you. It can infest your mind with beliefs that you don't even have. You can become a worse person. And that's just being around bad energies. But if you're addicted to socializing with those bad energies, you don't really get a break from that, especially since everyone is always usually reachable on their phones. So it's like you don't get away from these bad energies. You don't have alone time. And that can be so harmful. So harmful. Now that we've talked about a lot of negatives of being addicted to socializing, let's talk about what we can do to help to solve this problem. And the biggest thing, as I've mentioned a lot, is spending time alone. If that's not in your routine, maybe it's going to be a little hard. Please, I'm telling you, book off a day for yourself. Schedule off a day for yourself. Schedule off a day to be alone. Try it, okay? Write down some things that you like to do. Or maybe you just want to do nothing, okay? Maybe you just want to do nothing. But have days alone. Have days alone. Or maybe alone with your family. Or if it's too much, then schedule a walk, a 1-hour walk that you just are alone, okay? Just practice being alone more and use that time maybe to think about how the amount that you're socializing affects you, if you are okay with it, if you're cool with that, or maybe you want to do it less. Think about it critically, because that can be hard sometimes. Another very important one is ask yourself why. Why do I feel the need to socialize all the time? Why do I feel the need to hang out with someone all the time? Why can't I be alone? Why? Ask yourself why. Is it because I don't like the feeling of being alone? Is it because my thoughts are too much for me and even music isn't cutting it anymore? Even TV shows aren't cutting it anymore? I need to be with people, or I don't feel safe, or I don't feel whole? Do I need to latch on to someone else for self-esteem? Like, what is your self-esteem based off of is a really important question that you could ask. And without even starting at the point of why am I addicted to socializing, you can get there. If you are addicted to socializing and you ask yourself, what's my self-esteem based off of, maybe you'll find yourself realizing, oh, it's the people around me. It's how people think about me. It's how people treat me. That's not a steady base for a building. The building of your self-esteem. It's not a steady base. If you watched this far, you were probably interested. You were probably relating. You were probably seeing yourself described a little bit. Or maybe you just thought the background was cool. But if that is you, I urge you to take a look at these things and really think about it. Because your alone time, I'm telling you, if you don't already know, is so beautiful and so precious. So precious. Please don't waste that. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, I love you. Bye. Bye. Bye.